Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Cowboys urged to franchise tag two-time NFL All-Pro instead of George Pickens. If the Dallas Cowboys couldn't win with the team they have in 2025, that's going to make 2026 pretty tough. It's tough because the Cowboys' financial outlook for 2026 shows a team approximately $36 million over the salary cap next year. That means attrition. It's no doubt the Cowboys will need to make some tough decisions to field a winning roster, the toughest decision of which will be which player to use a franchise tag on. The common thinking is the tag will be used on wide receiver George Pickens at an estimated $28 million for 2026. Pickens, on the other hand, wants a massive contract extension which will make him one of the NFL's highest-paid wide receivers. Another option that hasn't been entertained to this point would be to franchise tag record-setting kicker and two-time NFL All-Pro Brandon Aubrey. This would cost around $6.7 million, according to Over the Cap. Who do you franchise tag if you're Jerry Jones, Brandon Aubrey, or George Pickens? The Ringer's cousin Sal Iacono asked on the Bill Simmons podcast following a 34-26 loss to the Minnesota Vikings in Week 15. Aubrey, Simmons said quickly. Kickers aren't even that expensive. You didn't even blink at that, Iacono said. Then you lose Pickens. Okay, Simmons said. That's fine. If the last few weeks have been any indication, paying Pickens could end up being a disaster, and letting him go in free agency might be the smartest move for Dallas. Pickens, who is just 24 years old, came to the Cowboys in exchange for a 2026 third-round pick in May and is in the final season of the four-year, $6.75 million contract he signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers when he was taken in the second round of the 2022 NFL Draft. He's also having a career year. He's third in the NFL with 81 receptions for 1,212 yards and 8 touchdowns. Those are all career highs. Spotrac projects Pickens to have a market value in the range of a four-year, $124 million contract, which would pay him approximately $31 million per year. The Cowboys already have three-time NFL All-Pro wide receiver CeeDee Lamb signed to a four-year, $136 million contract extension he signed before the 2024 season. No one would argue that the Cowboys struck gold when they made the deal with the Steelers this year for star receiver George Pickens, plucking him for a third-round pick and a late-round pick swap. But in the last two games, with the Cowboys desperate for wins to keep their playoff hopes alive, Pickens has had his two least productive days since his Dallas debut in Week 1. Pickens went for 5 catches and 37 yards in Week 14 against the Lions, then put up 3 catches for 33 yards against the Vikings on Sunday night. For a guy hoping to prove he is a number one receiver before he hits free agency this offseason, those were very down weeks that almost certainly will affect his value. Trevon Diggs fires back at Jerry Jones over injury comments after Vikings loss. The Dallas Cowboys are coming off a disappointing loss to the Minnesota Vikings in Week 15, as the team couldn't keep up with J.J. McCarthy and company, who dropped 34 points on the defense. With the Cowboys suffering their 7th loss of the season, Dallas is now sporting a record of 6-7-1. America's team's chances of making the NFL playoffs are slim, to say the least, as the storied franchise will almost certainly be on the outside looking in on the postseason this year. One of the persistent problems for the Cowboys throughout the 2025 campaign has been their inability to contain opposing offenses. It doesn't help that one of their best cornerbacks has been sidelined due to injury, with Trevon Diggs forced to watch rather than play. However, Diggs claims he's healthy enough to play, which is something that longtime team owner and general manager Jerry Jones disagrees with. "I feel good enough to play, so we'll just have to see," Diggs said via the team's website. "At the end of the day, it's not my decision. Me personally, I feel good, I feel healthy, I feel ready. So I just got to wait." Even though Diggs doesn't appear frustrated at the moment, it's clear that he and the Cowboys brass are not on the same page, but he clearly wants to play. Of course, I want to be out there helping the guys win, Diggs said. So yeah, it makes it hard to watch because I feel like I can contribute and be there, so yeah, it's painful to watch. I want to play. After the loss to the Vikings on Sunday, Jones spoke with the media and clearly wasn't happy about the questions regarding why Diggs wasn't playing, as he made it clear that he believes the star cornerback is simply not healthy enough to be on the field, according to NFL reporter Ed Werder. Diggs isn't healthy enough to be out there for us, Jones said of Diggs. Okay. Did everybody hear that? I said he's not healthy enough for us to put him out there. There's no question that things are getting tense in Dallas with the Diggs situation, and it could ultimately end with the veteran corner wanting to go somewhere, as NFL insider Jordan Schultz claims the relationship has soured during this process. Cowboys All-Pro cornerback Trevon Diggs will not play Sunday versus the Vikings. This comes after what was described to me as a great week of practice, while multiple sources tell me the relationship between Diggs and the organization has soured and been severed. Only time will tell how things pan out between Diggs and the Cowboys, but it doesn't look like it is headed in the right direction. Cowboys Trevon Diggs publicly steamrolls Matt Eberflus after Sunday Night Football disaster. Matt Eberflus has been under fire all season, and the vitriol came to a head following Dallas' 34-26 loss to the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday night. The Cowboys' defensive coordinator has nowhere left to hide after allowing J.J. McCarthy to go up and down the field in a must-win game. While Jerry Jones is quietly losing faith in Eberflus, he stopped short of throwing him under the bus. Trevon Diggs did not follow Jones' lead. Here is what Diggs said after the game. It could be the change in defensive coordinator, Diggs said. That's hard to deal with, changing plays, changing personnel, finding what fits, finding what scheme fits your players that you have, and then trying to find a balance that you can run with. I think we made some great additions, like on the interior with adding Quinnen and Kenny Clark, and that was good. I feel like it's headed in the right direction. Diggs did his best to sugarcoat that quote by saying that the defense is heading in the right direction. It's also possible that Diggs was referring to the Cowboys' revolving door of defensive coordinators, and not just Eberflus, who is the team's third DC in as many years. That said, it's not hard to see the forest for the trees here. While Diggs has a lot of pent-up tension with Jerry and Stephen Jones, it's no secret that he isn't Eberflus' biggest fan.